TFL just set the stage to rug the Terra Luna Classic community. Are we even safe right now? Today has been an absolutely insane day. Buckle up and let's dive into the drama that unfolded. Today, the Terra Rebels put out this proposal, separation of Rebel Station from TFL infrastructure. Now, before we dive into what this proposal actually says, first we need to address the mess that TFL made and why this proposal needs to pass within the next 10 days. In the past couple days, TFL has been talking to Terra Rebels about their brand new station application that's going to be launching very soon. This would support cross-chain transactions and be possible through the different IBC channels. On November 20th, Do Kwon made it very clear to the public that Terra Luna Classic would be supported on this brand new station application from TFL. However, privately on November 26th, less than 1 week later, TFL made it very clear that Terra Luna Classic in its current state would not work on this new station application and updates would be needed. To make Terra Luna Classic work with the new Terra Station, Terra Luna Classic would need to first update the wallet prefix. As you guys can see in my Terra Luna Classic wallet address to start, this prefix is Terra. If I switch this network over here from Classic to Mainnet, it has the exact same start, Terra. This is critical because the way that this new station application would handle inter-blockchain transactions would actually be using this prefix to determine which blockchain the tokens would be sent to. And since both Terra Luna Classic and V2 have the same prefix, Terra, this would not be possible to distinguish between the two in the current state. Now, this might sound simple to change the prefix. However, in reality, this would not just simply be a parameter change. This would impact every exchange, every DEX, every utility, everything that references the Terra Luna Classic blockchain, including the own internal code. So this would make an absolute mess to try and resolve and try and make sure that everything redirects to the correct location. TFL also said that this has never been attempted before, and so it's really difficult to gauge just how much of a mess this would create. Now, after Terra Rebels did some digging to try and figure out how long this would take, they determined that this would take months to complete. However, TFL only gave them until December 15th, less than 1 month from the date that they were first notified about these changes needing to be made. That is currently only 10 days away, and we really need to act as soon as possible to try and overcome this. This is so important because people who are currently using Terra Station might lose access to their wallets. Specifically with the mobile version, Terra Station is going to actually be updating to this brand new station version with this inner blockchain connectivity. And the problem here is that this will potentially lock people out of their wallets. This is no longer going to support Terra Luna Classic, and so if you currently have a wallet that is using Terra Luna Classic, this is why you need to act right now, particularly if you have a mobile wallet. Save your seed phrase, save your private keys. In addition to this, there's not a lot of clarity as to what's going to happen for the desktop version or other versions of the Terra Station application. Now, even if you do switch to something like the Terra Rebels Station wallet, you still might not be safe. The reason for that is that all the clones of Terra Station, they actually use some of the same backend code. They essentially access the blockchain with the same set of keys. And the problem here is that if TFL stops supporting those keys to access the blockchain for information and do transactions on the blockchain, this would potentially lock all these different wallets out and totally destroy the functionality. Terra Rebels has asked TFL for access to these API keys. However, TFL currently is refusing to give them permission to access these APIs. This means that really the only option that we have right now as a community is trying to get our own infrastructure set up and no longer be reliant on TFL's infrastructure, as this could potentially take us down as TFL stops supporting these different APIs. And now that they're moving to this new version of the station wallet and no longer officially supporting Terra Luna Classic, there is no real reason for them to continue to run these Terra Luna Classic APIs. This also applies to the FCD and LCD endpoints, again, that are used to access the blockchain. And so hopefully you understand just how critical this is. If we don't act now, people will potentially be locked out of their Terra Luna Classic wallets, as well as not be able to access from other different types of wallets into the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem. It could be just an absolute disaster for us to deal with. And this is why the Terra Rebels put forward this proposal, and let's dive into what the proposal actually says. This first section of the proposal basically highlights everything that I said, including the fact that the station mobile application potentially may be removed as soon as the end of 2022, when the existing Terra Station mobile apps will likely be updated with that new station mobile app. So again, you might lose access to your wallet if it is saved and you don't have the information written down somewhere else to be able to recover your wallet. So definitely go ahead, write down your seed phrase, write down your private key. So the first point is provision of backend infrastructure and assets on TR controlled hosting. So hosting their own backend infrastructure, then refactor the Rebel Station frontend to reference this new backend and infrastructure. Again, right now, this Rebel Station and all other copies of Terra Station are referencing back to the TFL code. Third, we're going to remove the TFL proprietary private APIs, reverse engineer, and create local alternatives. It's not going to be as simple as just replace the API. They have to first figure out how did TFL make those APIs, reverse engineer that, and then implement those new solutions. Then they're going to have to go to step 4, which is testing and deploying all of this new code. They're guessing that this is going to take 2 months and cost $150,000. Now, talking to some people within Terra Rebels, this 2-month estimate is assuming that everyone is working 7 days a week and over 8 hours every single day. And to be clear here, this does not fix everything that TFL could be breaking here in just 10 days. This is the first of a series of spending proposals related to Terra Station and Finder, with future proposals required to cover the following areas. So the mobile application has to get reworked, the desktop application has to get reworked, Finder application, and then we need ongoing technical support to deal with the wallet and the Finder application. And so we have this massive curveball thrown at us from TFL, where we're going to need to drain a lot of the community pool to get this going. And this is so critical. There really is no debate as to whether we should do this or not. TFL has shown very clearly that they're not only willing to go back on their word, that they're then willing to screw over the community by not giving us a chance to recover with the new situation, as well as potentially removing these critical endpoints that allow these different user interfaces to actually operate. A worst case scenario is that in just 10 days, TFL could revoke access to these different API endpoints and infrastructure, which would cause us to not really have a way to interact with the blockchain until Terra Rebels is able to finish this development, which would take almost 2 months, which means we could have over a month without really having a great way to access the blockchain. Now, Terra Rebels is working very hard right now to see if they could find a temporary band-aid solution that could make things work if absolutely needed. However, that of course is not ideal by any means. And again, this is a massive problem that we're facing here. Now, some people are speculating that Terra Rebels made this all up. However, we have confirmation from someone within TFL that this is all accurate information. So someone right here was asking, hey, this is what Clan Mudhorn said. Is this accurate? Jared, someone from TFL, confirmed. We've been very clear with Terra Rebels about these qualifications. Right here, Jared said that it was communicated on 11/26, so 6 days after Do Kwon said that they were going to support Terra Luna Classic, that it was explicitly stated that they needed these different upgrades that we discussed a little bit earlier, and this is a little bit more of the technical names behind that. Just to dive my hands, then ask a question because a lot of this is very confusing. So I have my lunk on Terra Station right now. Will I be able to cast votes on proposals transfer to and from Terra Station after December 15th? To which Jared replied, unclear, still working on that. Likely no. You'll need to manage from the Terra Rebels version. If possible, they'll keep the Legacy Station and Interchain Station live. However, again, this is only if it's possible. This is not a guarantee. And the risk here, if it's not possible, is massive. You will no longer have access to your wallet unless you have saved that information. Your private keys and your seed phrase need to be saved. That way you could migrate over to the Terra Station wallet if necessary. If you do not save that and the Terra Station goes down, you are kind of screwed. And so this is just an absolute mess that has been thrown at us today. We did not expect this at all. A lot of us were really excited about the IBC that was supposed to be happening and a lot of different things that were going on for the ecosystem. This is definitely not ideal. This does prove, though, for us that we need to definitely separate ourselves from TFL, and that TFL cannot really be trusted. I do appreciate Jared providing us this insight and information so we can get a better idea of what was going on here behind the scenes. However, at the end of the day, TFL was working on this for a while. They would have known that this was a problem if they were planning on referencing every single part of their inner blockchain connectivity based on that prefix. They would have known that Terra 2 and Terra Luna Classic had the same prefix. This would have been an issue. Yet they decided to wait until just a couple days ago to make this information known to Terra Rebels, which then took the Terra Rebels a couple days to actually get a grasp of what the heck is going on here so they can make that information public. And now us as the community have learned about this, and we have 10 days before we potentially lose support on Terra Station. I personally am trying to figure out the solution here. I am writing down my seed phrase and my private key to make sure that information is secure. Just in case Terra Station goes down, I could migrate that if needed with that information. I would highly recommend everybody do the same. Now, as to what you should do right now, that's kind of up to you and what you think you need to do. You can move your coins to an exchange. You can move them over to the Rebel Station wallet. There's quite a few options here, but definitely write down that important information to protect yourself and your wallet. Be sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss another critical update like this as to what's going on with this insane drama, and make sure that you protect yourself.